Okay, I think we better make a start. We're ready with the live streams on? Good. Okay. Right, well, I declare the meeting open, CO 25/1. Welcome everyone here. It's our first business meeting, but kind of not. The main one's on the 25th, but this is a one that we need to have now. So please note that the meeting is being live streamed and the consequences of that. I shall start with our usual karakia. Whakatau mai te waura, whakawātea mai te hinanaro, whakarite mai te tinana, kia ea ai ngā mahi. Hi. Apologies, I have apologies from Councillor Murray Benge and Councillor Coxhead. An apology, I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's everyone. Okay. So I'm going to move and seconder for those, please. Councillor Sol, Councillor Ray, all in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Consideration of late items. I'm not aware of any. No. Declarations of interest. Does anyone have a declaration they'd like to make? No. Okay. Public excluded items. There aren't any. Public forum, I don't see anyone here for that. So moving on to the reports proper. We have, it wasn't quite clear whether Councillor Murray Benge was going to be here today, but she's not. So I think we'll just defer that item until she is here, which is her declaration to become a councillor. So we'll move straight on to page 10 and the Local Waters Dunwell endorsement of summary plan and appointment of members, elected members governance group. Over to you, Adele and Ariel.
Kia ora, everyone, and welcome to your first formal council meeting. It feels quite an auspicious moment that we're actually here about waters, which is obviously dear to Ariel and my hearts right now. But I have extremely good news to share with you today. We have just received probably about an hour or so ago that we've had our water service delivery plan approved by the Department of Internal Affairs. So really good news for us, so we can continue on with the next steps, and obviously the timing of that information in conjunction with what Ariel's going to walk you through shortly is really, really important, because the water service delivery plan outlined the steps that we're going to undertake between now and establishment. And then in the letter from the local government secretary, he outlined what he was looking for as well. So yeah, really good news. So good way to start our Friday, and your first meeting. I'll hand over to Ariel.
Kia ora, Mayor and councillors. There's essentially three matters that we're going to address today in the agenda item. I'm not going to read it through, but happy to take any questions once I've provided an introduction. So the first matter is to approve or endorse the summary plan, which includes the due diligence plan. So that essentially steps out what we're planning to look at, what's involved, and the timing of those things and the process. The other part of today is approving and appointing members to the elected members governance group, and proposing that those members would also be on the Western Bay elected members working group, and that the terms of reference that we adopt would be for that working group. So that's essentially your internal working group. So those are the three things we wanted to talk through to you today. In terms of the due diligence, that follows what we had set out in the water services delivery plan, and captures the elements that you had advised that you'd like considered further as part of that. And it also talks about the establishment planning phase. We talked you through these the other day during the workshop. So happy to take any questions if there is any.
So any questions on the report in front of us today?
So can I just note as well that part of the decision today is to endorse partnering with EOI as part of the IT project. So as we've noted today, the current water care system that we share with Tauranga City Council is end of life next year. So irrespective of any outcome, we still need to replace that, and we've been looking at economies of scale. So we'd like Council's endorsement to continue working with EOI, which is the water entity for Hamilton and Waikato.
So any questions on the report today? Councillor Joyce.
Just on a couple of things. One, on stormwater, we're talking here about helping TCC make their decision, but we haven't actually finalised how we're going to do it yet either. So I presume that's also part of the work, is it?
We have done, but yeah.
Well, where the boundary lies between the two parts of it, right? I mean, we have a rough idea, but we haven't actually defined it.
Yes, that's right. We're just in a slightly different position from TCC in terms of that decision-making process. But we will be coming back to you with that sort of granularity that we've talked about in terms of the different assets.
So just to be clear, we have made the decision. It's just that the reality is it will need a schedule of assets that will.
Yeah, exactly.
just
We need to
find
where to draw the line.
Yeah.
Exactly. And stranded costs, obviously that goes quite a long way beyond local water's done well. So how much of that do we really expect to do through this process when we actually need to have a complete sort of council process for that as well?
So this will, you are correct, Councillor Joyce, this will be undertaken in parts. So we will be working with the working group and council to understand what activity is going to be carried out by what part. So whether it's going to be something that's a service level agreement back with council, or whether it will be transitioned fully to the water organisation, and then that starts to inform what would be stranded. So it'll be a stepping stone process as we're working through that as to how far we take the water entity itself versus agreements back with council. But you are right. So the first part will be to agree what the entity design would look like, and then we can go from there.
Any other questions? Councillor Darling, Councillor Dinsdale.
Thank you, ladies. I'm going to ask a question around number 22A. So that's around Tangata Whenua Partnership. So I note that we're considering existing policies. What does that look like in practical?
So from a practical perspective, that's just making sure that the existing policies that we might use as a council in terms of things like partnership approaches, engagement and consultation, those types of things would carry over or be amended as required through to the new entity.
In terms of working with TCC, who will you be working with?
Do you mean as staff on this process? So we've been working with Kieran and CJ and Fiona. Yeah.
What involvement will, in this case, I'm talking about their forums, have in this relationship?
Yeah, so on the next Thursday, which is the 20th, we've got that hui and the forums, the Rangipu and the iwi chairs and a range of other chairs have been invited, as well as our forums. And that at that hui, one of the things that we'll be talking about is what members would form a working group to also work with council, TCC and Western Bay on those matters.
Will the representation be skill-based, or will it be representation of hapu-based?
That's a discussion for next Thursday in terms of the way that Tangata Whenua may wish for that to go. Yeah.
Sorry, just through the mayor. Just to note that the outcome that we're looking for is for a group of 5 representatives that can be agreed that will work alongside the elected member working groups. So that's what we're trying to get to. And what that looks like is obviously up to that discussion, as Ariel pointed out. I might hand over to the mayor as well.
Is it 5 representation from Western Bay, or is it a combined 5 representation for?
We're looking for a combined representation, given that we're working towards a joint water services entity.
It's going to be an interesting conversation.
I did have a question on the terms of reference, and it says on page 39, regular briefings will be provided by the WBEM WG, that's a bad acronym, to council to ensure transparency and accountability. And this will be the responsibility of the WBEM WG chair. I just seeking your views about how that should be, whether it's my mayor's report in monthly council meetings, or it's a separate thing, or how do you envisage that being reported?
I don't think that we had thought of the cadence. We thought that might be something you'd like to decide as a group, and also possibly in conjunction and consultation with your council members. But because quite a lot of things are happening quite quickly, we would probably suggest a weekly update.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, any other questions? Councillor Ray.
I think my question sort of follows along with that, and I'm not sure whether it's a staff question or for you, James, but so when this working party is in action, they go off and they do the listening and whatever they're doing with the CCO planning. And then when they come back to us, is it just one person that is going to be reporting back from those 5 people on the working party?
Well, I mean, that's literally what we were just asking. It might be it might be a written report, or it might be
Yeah, but is it
conversational.
just a report from you? That's all.
Well, it does say by the chair, but I mean, obviously, other inputs welcome. You don't want 5 different reports, obviously.
I know I wouldn't like to see 5 different reports, but I do wish to have a full overview from all 5 of the representatives there. Otherwise, it's really just a report from the chair.
That is what's envisaged, but I mean, if there's input from everyone, that's fine. I mean, there shouldn't be 5 different accounts of what happened. It should be pretty. This is what it is.
Through
Yeah.
the mayor. So just to talk to that point, the purpose of the working group is to help facilitate some of the questions that we put up in the workshop this week around the key terms. So it'll be thinking about, okay, how many directors is the entity likely to have, and what would it look like? So it's working through these things, and we ultimately what we need to do is get to a consensus. So we're not necessarily going to have 5 different views. We want it collectively to come back to council that we've thought about these things. We think this is the best way forward, and we hope you endorse it. So we'll be having either working groups with questions directly to the members of the working group, and then they'll come together with the joint working group. So we do want to have one story as we're moving forward, but we're trying to bring everyone on that journey with us without trying to work with everyone, which I was obviously would be quite challenging. So that's the purpose of this.
What was your concern, Laura? Because I mean, if if the working parties think we should have 7 directors in the CCO, for example, and and I report we've decided we're going to have 7 directors in the CCO, there's not going to be a different version from Councillor Joyce. It's going to be that's what we decided.
I think I was thinking around, it's sort of up in the air for me as to what exactly they would do. Like, that explanation is helpful, but certain times around the table here, there is a sort of a different version of what happened and what was said and why. That's all. And I'm not saying it's you or anyone in particular. I just want to hear it from both sides, I guess. But I take your point that certain parts to it will be just an adamant, this is why we did this is why we're doing it. And that doesn't need to be explained 7 times. But there are some decisions that someone might have understood it differently as to why.
Councillor Alvin.
Mayor, I wonder whether Councillor Ray is simply questioning whether there will be the opportunity to interrogate the report. So rather than there being just a report, I would expect that a meeting will have the opportunity to interrogate that report as part of an ordinary council process, so that the report won't be just tabled and move on. There'll be the opportunity for elected members to discuss it. That may be the thrust of the question.
Yeah, Ariel.
I think we need to be a little bit more agile than the current schedule of council meetings would likely permit. I'm not sure how. What that means is that, and possibly a simple way of doing that is that, not that I want to say how you should necessarily do things, but perhaps as part of this conversation, when you're having those meetings, you have an agreement about what will be reported back to the rest of your fellow councillors, and that would come through the chair. So that
I just said, like any other minute taking, where there's minutes and everyone agrees with them, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just coming back. I don't think we need to have it come through a council reporting process, because we will be having these week on week.
Yeah, and if anyone in the working group violently disagrees with what was synthesised on the meeting, then just highlight it and just say, because almost certainly that'll be a mistake rather than a deliberate misrepresentation or something.
And through the mayor, also just to note, Laura, is that anything that's coming through from the working group will be, you come through to council for a decision at the end of the day. So it will be a council of a whole decision. It's just a recommendation from the working group.
Councillor Beach.
Thank you, Mayor. I've noticed that there's 5 people being nominated for the Western Bay side. Can I assume that it's equal on the TCC side as well?
Yes, it is.
yes,
It's
it's
five Tonga Whenua, 5 Tonga City and 5 of us.
Okay. You talked about being a chair. Is there a chair of the whole group, or is there a chair on the Western Bay and the TCC side? And is the message going to be consistent to both councils?
So we acknowledge that this would be challenging to try and have one person singled out. So we've actually appointed an independent facilitator across this particular working group, and it's Lyle Thurston.
And just to clarify, that appointment is across the governance group, which is across the joint one, not at your Western Bay working.
So no,
group.
I'd be the chair of the Western Bay one, and then as part of the 15 of us, it's Lyle Thurston.
Yes.
Councillor Joyce.
This is an inconsistency in the report. At the top, we're being asked to endorse the names. And then I'm down page 37. It says, or such other persons as are nominated by the mayor from time to time, which suggests it's in the mayor's grace and favour. So I'm a bit confused. Is it the mayor's grace and favour, or are we actually endorsing the membership today? Because
Well, I can nominate them, but then they would be endorsed.
but this will have to come.
Because
back to
I
council.
nominated these.
Yeah,
but they're
by
being
the
endorsed
character,
today.
whatever.
It's
Yeah,
the same process.
okay, thank you.
It's standard wording.
Councillor Elvin. Yours? No, Councillor Beach.
Yes, just a bit of clearancy over the project structure. You've got elected members governance group, which I assume is us, your CEO oversight group, but more so probably a bit of in regards to the project steering group and the project team. Can we have some sort of insight of what that's about?
Through the mayor. So the CEO group is comprised of Miriam and Marty, being the 2 chief executives from both councils. The project steering group consists of Christine Jones and myself. So everything will get escalated up for us to be able to resolve before it goes up further to the chief executives and further. So Miriam wants to talk to this as well.
My comment would be, I, as a chief executive, and Marty agreed, we can't spend our time in the work of this whole project as well as running council. So that's why we've created the specific delegation to senior council employees to do that, which is lights of Dell.
And the project team is involving staff either from finance or HR across the business, so we can create a team that will be focused in working on this to be able to provide the due diligence phase and also at the same time we're creating an establishment plan.
Councillor Daly.
Just on point 3F, determine whether decisions or issues require whole of council direction versus WBM, EMWG only direction, and decide whether this occurs. So it sounds like there will be opportunities for the full council to be a bit more involved in the direction from the small members group.
That's correct, because ultimately the decision comes back to council as well. So we thought it was useful to have in there that there might be some decisions that the working group and then possibly the joint governance group may decide to elevate as well.
I mean, I had a discussion with Martin Rosenboom, who I think is chairing the TCC elected members group, and as opposed to the mayor, but and he made it pretty clear that, you know, this process needs to ensure that we do end up with a decision at the end of it, that a decision is actually made, I guess. And I guess the outcome of that is not just a function of the makeup of the small group.
Through the mayor. So in the workshop that we had on Monday, you'll remember we talked about whether things were a council decision or not. So you'll find that there'll be a transparent process if there's most things will have to go to council, as Ariel pointed out. So particularly when it comes to the constitution and the foundation documents.
Okay, I'll look around for any further questions, but it looks like we've come to the end of those questions. So a number of recommendations here. I think one that's missing is to according to our significance and engagement scale, it's of low importance. That's in the body of the document, but it's not in the recommendations. So I'd like firstly a mover and seconder for recommendation 1, that we received the report, and secondly, that's of low significance. Councillor Joyce is our seconder. Councillor Dinsdale. I assume no one's going to debate this one, so I'll put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. The next one is, because we're doing these in parts, that wasn't clear. So the next one is that the council endorses the multi-council water organisation summary plan, including due diligence. That's attachment 1. Can I have a mover and seconder for that one, please? Councillor Elvin, Councillor Daly. Is there any debate on this one? No, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Next recommendation is that appoint the elected members to the elected member governance group, and agrees the appointment of Lyle Thurston, and agrees that also members of the both the joint working group and a council only working group. Can I have a mover and seconder for those, please? Councillor Joyce, Councillor Beach. Any debate on this one? No, I'll put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Okay. Mover and seconder for the approve the terms of reference for that elected members working group. I'll mover and seconder, please. Councillor Daly, I'm happy to second that. Any debate on this one? Put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. And lastly, it's the council endorses partnering with IOI for the replacement of the water care IT system, etc., etc. I'm happy to move that one. Is there a seconder, please? Councillor Joyce. Any discussion on this one? Councillor Dinsdale? Oh, I was going to say, is there any discussion? Okay, no. Okay, in which case I will put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. And then the last two we'll take together, which is council supports paying meeting fees and negotiated additional resourcing for Tangata Whenua, and that the meeting fee will be in line with other agreed meeting fees, as and delegates you to do, Miriam, to agree that. So that's in short. So can I have a mover and seconder for those, please? Councillor Elvin. Anyone else? Councillor Dinsdale. Any debate on this one? No. I'll put the motion. All in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. So with no information for receipt, I declare the council meeting closed.